the power of education to transform nations, societies, and individuals is well documented and is self-evident. This is why the NDC, since its inception, has always prioritized education at all levels. Unfortunately, under the Akufo-Addo NPP government, the education sector has suffered neglect and severe distortions. This distortion is evidenced by an acute infrastructural deficit, an erratic academic calendar, inconsistent curricula, lack of investment in the professional needs of teachers, poor industrial relations leading to prolonged and unresolved strikes, as well as inadequate teaching and learning material. Indeed, the slumping of quality in education as well as outcomes is evident at all levels. Ladies and gentlemen, the next NDC government will comprehensively reset our educational system in collaboration with all stakeholders. Our goal is to aggressively expand infrastructure, enhance teacher welfare and professional development, and increase investment in the sector for quality outcomes. Now let's begin with the tertiary sector. The incoming John Mahama NDC administration will do the following in the tertiary sector. We will implement a non-academic fees policy for all first-year students in all public tertiary institutions. For the sake of clarity, this would include universities, technical universities, colleges of education, as well as nursing training colleges. We would also provide free tertiary education for all persons with disability. We would provide and implement a free bed for all program by building on-campus and affordable student hostels and expanding accommodation facilities for tertiary students through PPP schemes. We will also provide trainee teachers and nurses with allowances, student loans, and other diverse funding opportunities for them to be able to survive and thrive during their training. In addition, we will revamp the Student Loan Trust Fund to increase loan amounts based on a needs assessment and ensure prompt disbursements. We will introduce legislation to usher in a new era of government scholarship administration, which would prohibit the award of scholarships to government officials and streamline scholarships across multiple sectors to do away with the current uncoordinated and indeed corrupt regime. We will decentralize, we would decollateralize the CAD fund and restore it to its original mandate of educational financing. We will continue our policy of establishing public universities in every region with a focus on the newly created regions. We will also improve subventions to public universities and ensure timely disbursement. In the secondary sector, the next NDC Mahama government would undertake the following. We will abolish the double-track system to restore a single-track academic calendar. We will embark on an emergency infrastructural drive to complete abandoned E-blocks and expand infrastructure in existing senior high schools as well as TVET institutions. We will provide a dedicated and sustainable funding source for quality secondary education by ring-fencing a percentage of our oil revenue for this specific purpose. We will also decentralize the procurement of food and other basic supplies, ensure timely food supplies, and improve the quality and quantity of food for our students in the secondary school system. We will continue our policy of provision of free tablets and laptops for senior high school students. We will review the computerized school selection and placement system to address the corruption in the school placement and make sure that students are placed based on merit. We also will reform secondary education curricula to integrate STEM, agriculture, vocational skill, digital literacy, civic education, design thinking, and life skills into secondary educational outcomes. We intend to expand science resource centers across the regions to support STEM and TVET education. We will commence the establishment of regional TVET centers of excellence integrated with fabrication and other state-of-the-art facilities to promote innovation and stimulate real work environments. We will prioritize, rebrand, and increase investment in TVET as a key anchor of economic transformation. We will implement a national apprenticeship program to generate self-employment through the provision of free technical and vocational training for young people in various crafts. In the area of childhood and basic education, the next NDC Mahama government will undertake the following. We will introduce the Bright Beginnings Initiative to revive and repurpose early childhood education for the well-being of Ghanaian children and facilitate seamless integration into continuous schooling and lifelong learning. We will initiate a policy to integrate early childhood education into basic education, supported by appropriate infrastructure. We will establish a department for early childhood development under the Ministry of Education with a special mandate to promote early childhood education. We will launch a Furniture for All initiative to address the acute deficit at the basic level in partnership with local carpentry and furniture industry partners and players. We will also significantly improve the people to textbook ratio through the provision of curriculum-based texts. And if I may add, today as we speak, we still do not have the full complement of textbooks in our schools. According to parliamentary records, only 65% of the required textbooks have been distributed so far. We also intend to embark on an aggressive infrastructural drive to address the increasing phenomena of schools under trees and rehabilitate dilapidated school buildings. Again, according to records available by education sector, civil society organizations like Africa Education Watch, we currently have in excess of 5,000 schools under trees. We also intend to initiate a Start Smart curriculum for greater integration of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, coding and digital literacy, and TVET into the basic school curriculum. Still in the basic sector, we plan to increase and ensure regular payments of capitation and feeding grants, and this is very significant. As we speak, government owes capitation grants in excess of 8 terms. This is the equivalent of almost 3 years, and it is the capitation grant that is used to run our public basic schools. This is why we say that public basic education in Ghana is free. So you can imagine how the head teachers have to struggle to mobilize resources, sometimes even take loans, and procure the services of carpenters, of masons, just to fix minor cracks in walls, fix broken down chairs, doors, and furniture. Because the capitation grant is not remitted tenuously, today you wouldn't hear public basic schools engage in cultural activities, neither will you hear them engage in sporting activities. This is a very, very important issue that ought to be addressed. And parents and Ghanaians alike should be glad and happy that the NDC has recognized this issue and is going to tackle it head on. We also intend to promote digital literacy at the basic level by providing computer facilities installed with digitized learning material and upgraded ICT laboratories To enhance that this is able to function in the rural areas where the national grid is not yet present, we intend to promote solar energy as a primary energy source for school facilities. But of course, we cannot speak about education without speaking about the role of the teacher and the conditions of the teacher. In the area of teacher training and teacher welfare, the next NDC Mahama government will do the following. We will prioritize the timely promotion of teachers and ensure the availability of funds for their remuneration. We will institute the Teacher Dabre project to provide accommodation facilities for teachers within new school buildings. And this is very, very important. It's a game changer, particularly for those of us who come from rural areas. We know one of the reasons why it is very difficult to deploy and get teachers to stay and teach in the rural communities is because of the lack of accommodation. So this is a very, very important intervention. But the incoming John Mahama NDC government is even going to go a step further by introducing a special allowance of 20% of basic salary for teachers who accept postings to rural and underserved communities. We also intend to abolish the teacher licensure examination and integrate the licensure process into the final year examination of trainees whilst they are still in school. We will scrap the NPP's mandatory national service for teacher trainee graduates and restore the automatic employment of newly qualified teachers. We will partner with the teacher unions to initiate the government-assisted mortgage scheme to support teachers to own their own homes. We intend to initiate a scheme to assist teachers own vehicles of their own and of their choice by offering flexible duty payments and arrangements and government guarantees in partnership with teacher unions and the banking sector. We intend to establish a college of education in their front place because we all know that in that enclave there is a challenge of acute professional teacher shortage. And to address this issue, it is a promise by the incoming John Dramani Mahama NDC government to establish a college of education in the Afram Plains. To conclude, the John Dramani Mahama that we know has a proven track record in the area of education and can be trusted to deliver on these and many other promises. He is a visionary and sincere leader that we know we can trust any day, anywhere, and anytime. I call on all of you at home, wherever you are watching us from, as long as you are a Ghanaian and you have a vote, the options and the choices are clear, like night and day. Vote for John Dramani Mahama to ensure that every Ghanaian child gets quality education. Help us to rescue and reset our education for our collective good. I thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was 15 minutes presentation on the summary of the highlights on education in the 2024 Manifesto of the NDC. It's all about resetting education to improve outcomes. We want to improve the quality of education from the early childhood level through to the basic level, to the secondary level, all the way to the tertiary level. And you just heard Dr. Park summarize these far-reaching, well thought through policies of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC for you, because we prioritize education. We know that education is the bedrock of the development of every country, and that is why we have, put before you these proposals. And it is our hope that through your esteemed platforms, the people of Ghana will get to know, for us to engage on these policies in this campaign. Now, another equally important matter is the issue of health, because without health, we can't even enjoy education. So quality healthcare delivery is very important. Now, for the account stations here, I know you've started thinking about how will you get them to give you summaries in the account language. Don't worry. Dr. Pak may be MP for Bilsa, but he speaks fluent Twi. Honorable Peter Toobu also speaks good Twi. I don't know about Professor Bayo. He also speaks Twi. So when they are done and we wrap it up, they will still be here to engage you so that you can get your sound bites. But at this stage, let's welcome to the microphone a man who served as secretary to the Ghana Medical Association some time ago. Currently, he is the PC and inshallah the incoming member of parliament for the good people of Laos. The Honorable Professor Titus Bayo will address us on health.
Our communication officer, other comrades present, permit me to stand on the established protocols. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, it is my delight to present to you the health sector policies of the next NDC administration, led by the visionary leader, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, which is aimed at assuring that we have quality healthcare delivery to the people of Ghana. Currently, our health sector is bedeviled with serious human resource challenges, such as the mass exodus of our experienced human resources, due mainly to poor economic mismanagement and the lack of hope in the future of this country. These highly experienced staff are leaving. Another issue is unemployed graduates from our various health training institutions and a quota system in the admission into these training institutions. Compounding the human resource challenges are sick hospitals with dilapidated buildings, obsolete equipment, and the entire hospital environment is demoralizing to very dedicated and highly skilled staff who are unable to deliver according to their expertise because of these challenges. The NDC and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama believe that the health of the nation is the wealth of the nation. The visionary and empathetic leader, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the nation builder, recognizes that Ghana needs a healthy workforce to support his game changer, the 24-hour economy, to reset this country on the path of prosperity and shared growth. Mindful that a well-trained and highly motivated health staff is a prerequisite for the delivery of quality healthcare, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC propose the following policies in our manifesto. In the sector of healthcare financing, the NDC proposes that we will uncap the National Health Insurance Scheme. The National Health Insurance levy has been capped, and for those we all contribute to 25%. As if that was not enough, it was further reduced to 17.5%. And so not all our levies go to the NHI fund for them to have access to it. And we believe that uncapping will make a lot of difference. His Excellency and the NDC also propose to establish the Ghana Medical Care Trust Fund, which we call Mahama Cares, to support the cost of healthcare for persons with chronic conditions like hypertension, sickle cell, diabetes, heart diseases. Many of these fall into the category of conditions we call non-communicable diseases, and they are the leading burden of disease mortality in this country, the leading cause of morbidity and mortality. So, leading cause of sickness and leading cause of death in the country. To put it in lay terms for everybody to get it. We also propose a free primary care healthcare concept starting from the CHIPS compound all the way to the polyclinic level in the medium to long term, in the short to long, medium term, sorry. One will ask, what is in the manifesto for the healthcare infrastructure? The next administration intends to expand the healthcare infrastructure to restore prompt employment and timely deployment of healthcare workers. If you don't understand that, I think a lot of us know that when people go to nursing school, employment was almost automatic. But let me inform you that graduates from the year 2020, 2021, 2022 are still at home of nurses, and 2023 has just joined, unemployed. And because we have about 100 and few days to election, they've opened the portal for only 2020 nursing graduates. All other cases of healthcare workers, no information yet. Maybe in November, they'll open another portal just to get votes for it. We intend to construct a 500-bed specialist hospital, children's hospital, and a fertility center in Accra. The next administration intends to refurbish the Kolebu Teaching Hospital as an additional ultra-modern quaternary specialist hospital. Currently, the only quaternary hospital we have is the UGMC, University of Ghana Medical Center. And the administration that initiated and built it is making this pledge that will elevate Kolebu to that level. The next administration intends to refurbish the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital to meet the standards of an ultra-modern teaching hospital. The NDC administration will also expand the whole teaching hospital to provide comprehensive specialist services and establish a veterinary hospital in the Volta region to attract medical tourism from that enclave. His Excellency envisions that a specialist and trauma hospital will be built in the OT region to respond to emergencies along the Eastern Corridor. You know we have one at Winneba covering that part, but we have none in the Eastern Corridor, and the Eastern Corridor roads are being worked on. To upgrade the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, that's Rich Hospital, to a full teaching hospital and link it to the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons for specialist training. And then we intend to upgrade the Navrongo War Memorial Hospital to facilitate the training of doctors, nurses, and other health workers in that area. The next NDC government would establish a modern dialysis center in the Upper East region to serve that catchment area. There is something of a dialysis happening there, but very minimal. We intend to build an ultramodern hospital in Boku, Yendi, and other towns based on needs assessment. What is in our 2024 manifesto for health workers, the human resource? The next administration is planning to establish a College of Allied Health Sciences for postgraduate medical training, especially training for these. We plan to introduce a degree and specialist training program for colleges of nursing to improve the skill of our nursing care to that level. In furtherance of that, we are providing scholarships, opportunities for nursing tutors, so that when we convert their schools to degree awarding institutions, they will have the caliber of teachers to offer that tutor services there. So they'll be giving scholarship to study PhD programs in preparation for that transformation. The next NDC administration plans to complete the establishment of additional campuses for the University of Health and Allied Sciences at Keta and Bato. His Excellency's government from January 2025 plans to establish a medical school in the Brong-Ahafo region, the former Brong-Ahafo region, currently the Bono East and Ahafo regions, and operationalize the Tsunami Teaching Hospital as a site for medical training. And for those who know how doctors are distributed in this country, when a medical school or a site of a medical school is open in any region, automatically you have a lot of specialist consultants gravitating there to improve service delivery, research, and teaching. And so this will help address the maldistribution of professionals in this country. We intend to introduce one of my favorite policies, the risk exposure insurance for healthcare workers, to provide financial protection and support in the event of injuries, illness that we encounter in the line of duty. And I can tell you, and colleagues, doctors who are here will tell you, that when doctors, nurses, other healthcare workers fall ill in the line of their duty, sometimes we have to write to the presidency, they have to go on the social media to raise funding just to manage conditions that they themselves have been taking care of other people and they cannot afford it. So this insurance, and it's not like what we saw during the COVID. We intend to provide affordable accommodation within the premises of health facilities and offer home ownership schemes. And this one, I know all the unions are excited about this because they are putting in effort to acquire parcels of land in the various regions. I'm former General Secretary of the Medical Association. I know that we have done that, acquiring parcels of land for doctors in Ho, in Y, in other regions. How will they build? And the home financing scheme will come in handy there. And we intend to reward healthcare workers who accept postings to rural communities and underserved areas with decent 20% of their basic salary as an allowance. But in addition to that, a shorter service period for promotions and study leave if you accept to serve Ghanaians in those areas. So what is in our manifesto for herbal, traditional, and alternative medicine? The next administration of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama intends to mainstream research-backed herbal, traditional, and alternative medical practice in patient management at all levels in the country, so that we don't get one herbal drug that is managing every condition, and the doctors are scared to prescribe and patients are scared to take. We will have evidence-based practice in this area. For the pharmaceutical sector, we intend to support the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana with incentives to make Ghana a pharma hub. Also, for the human resource bit, we intend to reintroduce the vehicle tax waiver for healthcare professionals that is well regulated, because this was a very useful thing that was available for doctors and other healthcare workers. It was abused. The government changed it into a revolving fund. It was not sustained, and now the plan is to reintroduce it and regulate it very, very well. So, being that these are highlights of the manifesto, I'll proceed to conclude, ladies and gentlemen, and I will ask in conclusion that can we trust that these policies will be implemented to promote quality healthcare delivery? Yes. Yes. And I say a confident yes. Why is it yes? The messenger is credible and trustworthy. The NDC and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama have a track record in the health sector. To us, the doctors and nurses, our first ever codified conditions of service document was delivered in 2015 and 2016 respectively by the government of the NDC, and we are forever grateful. To the patients and the healthcare seeking public, the record is there. The University of Ghana Medical Center, the Dodoa Ultramodern Hospital, the Bank Hospital, the International Maritime Hospital, and the thousands of CHIP compounds dotted across the country, built by slashed salaries of appointees of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, are testimonies to us that we can trust that this man can do what he is saying. I therefore invite you, citizens of Ghana, to opt for the NDC's superior policy proposal and sign the social contract with us on the 7th of this January 2025. The credible and incorruptible pair of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajimai present the safest pair of hands to entrust the future of our healthcare to. Ladies and gentlemen, Mahama cares, and he will reset Ghana into a healthy country and put us on the path to shared prosperity and growth. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was another 15 minutes presentation on the policies, health policies and programs contained in our 2024 manifesto. He started with what we will do about health financing, what we do with the NHIL, free primary health care, and from there he came down to what we will do about health infrastructure. From there he spoke about what we will do for health professionals to boost morale and to have a health sector that works and that delivers quality, outcomes. So another round of applause for Professor Titus Daly, NDC parliamentary candidate for the Lambussie constituency. Now, ladies and gentlemen, education is important, and we've spoken about our policies for education. Health is very important, and we've spoken about health. But without security, you can't enjoy the health facilities, infrastructure, policies, and programs we have just discussed. Without security, education will be meaningless. And so at this stage, we want to talk to you about the policies and programs we have in our manifesto in the area of security. This is important because at the manifesto launch, time did not allow His Excellency President Mahama and our vice presidential candidates to go into issues of security. And so in the next 15, they are all doing 15 minutes, but because this man is a security man, I know you will do less. So, but before he comes, let me acknowledge the presence of another spokesperson for education, Mr. Kwame Alovi is here. A round of applause for Mr. Kwame. So, Honorable Peter Lanchene Toobu is a member of parliament for the good people of Wawes. Let's welcome him to the room.
Thank you very much, the National Communication Officer of the Great National Democratic Congress. I'm going to surprise you a little. Sitting behind me, where he just stepped out, is my primary school teacher, Honorable Emmanuel Zimafe. Yes. I want to also welcome all my other colleagues, spokespersons, and everybody who is in this room, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am sure as you sit, you feel very comfortable because you are the National Democratic Congress headquarters, where security is tight. Just look to your left or to your right, and you realize that probably the person sitting close to you, you don't even know the person. But you are very comfortable in the room because the party that is coming to power has arranged this press conference for you, and you are here very confident that you go back home very safe. That is the National Democratic Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot have development without security. Similarly, democracy becomes extremely fragile if our men and women in uniform cannot handle contemporary security threats to earn the respect of the civilian population. My journey with the taxi driver, a very short story. Last Sunday, and I do this most of the times, I'll pick a taxi cab for 25 minutes. Just look at what is happening in town. And the simple question I used to activate a conversation. 10:30 p.m., how do you feel relative to the security situation in the country? I had a 25-minute lecture from the taxi driver on the security situation in Ghana, the layman's perspective. And all he said was, my brother, if somebody threatens to kill you in Ghana now, if you know of any pastor, any elder, any influential person who will go and beg for the person to forgive you, go get them to go and beg for you. And I said, why? And he continued. There are a lot of examples I can give to justify this statement. Soldiers are killed. Some are injured by civilians. Police officers are attacked, beaten, and killed. MPs are not safe. Journalists are not spared. Bankers are killed. Watchmen are killed serially. And he was referring to what is happening in Wa and recently in the Savannah region. Above all, voters are killed during democratic elections. And what is more hurting is the fact that after all this, nobody is arrested, the crime is not detected, and all of us continue to live in fear. He continued, do you know that youth unemployment is the greatest security threat to our nation? Do you also know that the rising cost of living is actually pushing this country to the edge of the cliff? I got to my destination, ladies and gentlemen, and I assure you, your frustrations are dealt with completely by the next NDC administration that is coming, effective 7th of January 2025. After paying an amount of 70 Ghana cedis, and making to know that President John Dramani Mahama is coming back, he held the money in his hands, and I could see from his eyes, he wished he could give that money back to me, because he can see hope, and he actually saw hope through me. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my brothers from the media, the only real security that a person will have in this world is a result of knowledge, experience, and ability. It is thus a truism that the only real security that a nation can have is a result of knowledge, experience, and ability of the man who is in charge, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, the Chairman of the National Security Council, and for that matter, His Excellency, the President of the Republic. Comparing the two leading candidates in these 2024 elections, President John Dramani Mahama and Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, both of them happen to be my elder brothers. And I can tell you, I know them well. And I won't mince words. President John Dramani Mahama is miles ahead of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in the area of integrity, in the area of knowledge, in the area of experience. What is the next NDC government coming to do? Effective 7th January 2025. And I think the president made it very clear that within 14 days, his cabinet will be in place. That is a very serious-minded person. One, with the military. And I know they are watching me, and they are excited that I'm speaking, because you know what I know, and you know what we can do. Anytime the NDC is in power, men and women in uniform, I can tell you, are always excited, because the morale is always very high. We're going to construct housing units and refurbish dilapidated and abandoned housing units across the country. We are going to establish the Armed Forces Home Ownership Scheme for all personnel and officers. We are going to review and adjust salaries and allowances of troops and defense civilian staff to align with changing realities. We will complete and equip the Kumasi Military Hospital at Afari in the Central Command. We will initiate the construction of military hospitals in Vo, Bolgatanga, and Sekirioso. We will establish the Veterans Referral Department in the military hospital across the country. This is exciting. Our men and women in uniform, when they retire, we should continue to revere them. Why would a retired officer go to a hospital and go and join a queue? We should have a specialized department to give them that special attention that they desire. Having served the nation sometimes 20 years, some of them 30 years, and some of them even more. We will ensure transparency in the selection process for peace support operations. We will expand and equip the field engineers corps to undertake national emergency projects, road construction, and be licensed to undertake commercial ventures of the government. For the other security agencies, in no particular order, I just pick some of the policies that I want to highlight for them to understand that the NDC is so comprehensive, thinking about what we can do to reset the security sector. We will develop a comprehensive security and safety program to support the implementation of one of the most famous, if not the famous, or the star program or policy of the NDC government come 1st January 2025, the 24-hour economic policy. We're going to recruit 25,000 officers, 25,000 men to add to the existing strength so that we have the capacity to police the policy of the 24-hour economy. We will ensure merit-based, transparent, and decentralized recruitment and promotions in all security agencies in line with the HR gap analysis. I'm sure you heard recently that they wanted to do a recruitment for 11,000 people, and the story cannot be told in this room. But when we come, we are going to decentralize the process and make sure that it is transparent, equal access to equal opportunities. Expand the implementation of community-based crime prevention programs focusing on high crime areas by enhancing police presence and patrols in neighborhoods and public spaces. I'm sure in 2014, 2015, under the regime of one Inspector General of Police called Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Al-Hassan, that was the first time Ghanaians heard of police visibility, and people were excited. You close from work and you are going home in the night, get to your junction and you find a police officer standing there. What is the problem? I'm just here to ensure that we are safe. And people are excited. We are going to make that program better. Enhance border security and cooperation with international partners to combat terrorism, terror financing, and fight against foreign terrorists. Ladies and gentlemen, we will introduce a nationwide community policing program that is instructive, and I can tell you it's a game changer, very particularly for internal security. We will invest in ICT infrastructure, training, modern equipment, mobility, and other logistics to support intelligence gathering and enhance national safety. Recently, we would hear of the Alpha project that there were cameras all around, and even there was a promise that every police station was going to have a camera installed. That is just a promise. Many of the promises, including even within the security, are never fulfilled. If you don't take security serious, I don't see why we should take it serious and allow you to lead the country. We will control the proliferation of small arms and light weapons. We will clear the backlog of promotions and ensure timely promotions based on meritocracy and transparency. For the men and women in uniform, if you do anything that is all about their promotions, take it serious. They don't care what you do for them. It doesn't matter what you do for them. If it affects their promotion negatively, you will never be forgiven. But we are going to do that respecting meritocracy and competence. We will prioritize the welfare of serving and retired personnel of our security agencies. We will harmonize and address disparities in salaries, remuneration, and other conditions of service across the security agencies. We will review and enforce the medical package for serving and retired personnel and their families. We will review compensation packages for personnel who lose their lives or get injured in the line of duty. We will revamp the police public order management training school in Bwalewu, roll out a transparent police education and scholarship scheme, and introduce state-of-the-art technology for police operations. Policing is a science, and we need to understand that security itself is becoming more complicated than we understand, and we need to study it seriously as a country. Change the name of the Ghana Prison Service to the Ghana Correctional Service, and modernize prison service to make it humane. Changing the name is not mere changing nomenclature. We are changing the philosophy of the prison service. That from 2025, when we put people, when we convict people, we are going to send them to correctional centers and not prisons. I don't want anybody in Ghana to go to a prison again. I want everybody to go to a correctional center. That when we implement Operation Recover All Loot, and you are even jailed, we will send you to go and be corrected, to go and be reformed, so that we use not to strive. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to create well-equipped technical and vocational department in all major prisons, and that is the purpose. It's a reform center. It's not a punishment center. At least deterrence is enough if you don't even see your family. But you don't go there and come back and become worse off. You go and steal a cow or a goat, and you go back and come back and you graduate into an armed robber. That is not the way to go. We need to let that place be a correctional center. So the change of name is the change of philosophy. We will establish the NAGMO Fund as enshrined in the NAGMO Act of 2016. Fully implement the 2015 Supreme Court ruling and the recommendation of the Constitutional Review Commission. We will facilitate the construction of a customs hospital for serving and retired officers of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Ladies and gentlemen, as the National Communication Officer said, security people don't speak much. In conclusion, the security of our nation, listen to this, the security of our nation cannot be entrusted into the hands of a person who cannot be trusted. Warren Buffett, an American philosopher, philanthropist, and businessman, once said, in looking for people to hire, please be guided by 3 qualities. 1, integrity. 2, intelligence. And 3, energy. He said, without integrity, the other 2 will kill you. For the past almost 8 years, we have our nation in the hands of leaders without integrity. And the consequences are the mess we are witnessing across the sectors. The security sector, not an exception. If President Akufo-Addo and Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia were men in uniform, ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you, at least by now, they would have been interdicted for bringing the name of Ghana into disrepute. Our proud men and women in uniform know the difference between the NDC and the MPP. The difference between the presidential candidates of the great NDC and the MPP is clearer now than before. It is not news that morale amongst our men and women in uniform is always high anytime the NDC is in power. Thank you all, and may God bless our homeland Ghana and make it great and strong. Change is inevitable, and change is coming. The NDC, under His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, is coming back effective the 7th of January, 2025, inshallah. And all I want to tell you is that God bless all of you.
Thank you very, very much. So we've had 3 brilliant speakers, 3 brilliant presentations on education, health, and security. And their presentations summarize the key highlights of our policies as captured in the manifesto we launched last Saturday on these various sectors. And ladies and gentlemen, at this stage, I would want to open the floor. I know most of the media people are seated at the back. Please wave at me if you have a question for any of the speakers. If you don't have a question, we can call it a day. Because I can see from the way you're all smiling that you don't have questions. Do we have any questions? Good. It means that our speakers have done a good job. So what we're going to do now, we just had 50 minutes, so what we're going to do now is that I would want to plead with the English stations here to bear with us. Just keep your cameras where they are and your microphones where they are. Honorable Apak will come and do a quick summary of the policies, just the policies on education in the Akan language. And please, for those who say, oh, why don't you do Ewe or Dagbani and all that? For those watching, the stations here are all either English or Akan. And the other challenge is that I don't speak Dagbani, I don't speak Ewe. And the people here don't. So don't worry. Honorable Ukujuto Ablakwa will come and he will speak Ewe. And we'll have other spokespersons speaking other local languages. But for today, they are here to do quick summaries in the P language for the purpose of the Akan stations here. So, Dr. Park, the floor is yours.
Your friend, Dr. Clement, Ambassador Park. Being a mere MP, Emma Busa South 4. I'm saying, Ria Shimu, your manifesto, your flag bearer, John Ramani Mama. I did 2 jobs. I know who's some, and Yedi Hunkomo. Now, Kratano is to ye papa. And the Yama Bakum Unibia, and the Giddy say, here, and do it to me. Na se wiena se asembisa ohwa na yeyi ano de edi kan ya kan society wo hwe edusua ene Ghana ye nyina ye hu de yakoso na yetumi hu se enkoyie kane na NDC e wa aban mu no na yenim se e ba dusua e ade ana ye bo ehun modene enti se Ebeshena secondary school for Wombeko school. Naki to be no ma be fie. No ma be that be ya busumi Ebiani ankora de bedi. As one Omo primary school. Kane no Omoko school. Omutimi ye PE sports. Omutimi ye cultural activities. And they essence abai entry capitation grant intino. Nkonyane na asefo ebubukra. Shika wambenya yedi ama carpenter. So I'm back correct. I know a different capitation grant to Bono. Emma is a Osha, a teacher for Aqua Sono. Almost sitting and Koye, and then to me one teacher for no Marco strike. Now saying United said, one more chair, and put out more colleges of education. A more strike, there was swimming in Ukraina or move here. I'm saying, Richiana, your cracker. And he said, Bad Busia. It means I go for the river, my albino. One more year, dear cry. A coffin. We back on my bone. And the young fan shall see and free penning for a school, a friend tertiary. Your mama and I buy. Say, Yamia do not say moto about the manner. A better share, don't obey. The Edika said, you woman did them no. And I mean, who can say, do one any my dear. Omo to social as omo passes omo call tertiary. Say, omit me sika, and I say, omit me a boa or boa for. I'm an aboa mama quotation no. A no winya. To your mama say, when I do not obey president. Obi Pia or Ghananews, I said, you wedded them. Or pass a year, said, or quotation. I buy a beginning fees from first year, Epiaka, Sana, or Koyi. Yabara no so no, say, Osha University, Titru, Omokwa, Esan say, a day a war and also, a bind the ano. Hostels now, a war, MD campus, no, a canon, a yana, a dear mood room. The government saw a bar, one private sector. You know, obey a pump, say the bear will provide beds for all, and only just say a basic on campus hostels. Now, I'm a hostel born iodine, now I'm a phone. There be a minimum in command, Mitaka. Just already get fund, a very at the get fund, a see a woman. Or sound so at the get fund, I be a friend of Captain. The mama saw bar. Captain now, you have to get fund so. That is also get at the get fund, I see a woman. Obey you for her. As soon as one in a day. Say, the capital get fund. Now, collateralization everywhere. Sikapudwa was a backup fund, Hono, a beba. As I see, can get a bed, get a better education area financing. I know that the basis who are dying, I know that the between Konyama and Korano, I know that the best scholarship. Say the Beya, Korano do one, a Benya, emphasis for. Now, say, in Chediana, it is a scholarship secretariat. Over here, I say, party chairman, Freddie Blade, Neba. Or just scholarship or law, ever abroad. And so, maybe crossing for our more Munimadiano. It's also be any more Muntino, 1 year scholarship. Yashayana, among 4 more, or mamma, no papa, or Bemu, or 1 or no Munya scholarship. And the John Mamma say, or bar, or the Emra Eba Parliament. I may year to share a beya, will be Piera or Becase, or pest scholarship, or scholarship. No, now, or you be or yet a Kora Unimadi. Ah, the mammy and answer the papa. Enye Ubia, Owosika, and answer or yet a Bemu Eguma. And he Wakasa Oba is going to initiate a legislation that is going to manage and disperse scholarships to those who need the scholarships. Yabra secondary education. Yagina him say, and I can say, you will be a friend double track. And only then, some can only be go school. Now, if you fear, can you know your friend red, gold, and green? Don't want to again say a coin and walk. The government saw a bar, sad double track, obey you for home. Now, you are some on the dada. Say the net here, and Koran in a co school, woman in our school preco. So, move with ya, don't win your answer a day. I'll be few preco. So, obey me at the same mayor. Or say, or the Sikapugo, ever share infrastructure. Share a e-blocks now or shares here. Our 76, 46. You take a no, and I say, dear no, a man Kora, start a soon idea. I could find a neighbor, my buyer, oh my dear, do I see room? A big cry, a piano, bina, or day portrait, a big warehouse, no, or so a bar, or baby in a, there was I see for frack home. Na schools na bi wo ho no na wasan trem se de be ya nkora obia e benya baby ada se de be ya double track no de be yi every home so o hwe so a na ankra schools e wo ho aye free one private schools free senior school policy e ba ye abai aye na adwen se ankra schools no nkora na wo mo benefit from free senior school no o mo ko ho e bi your mama so ba or by extending the free senior school to cover students in the private secondary schools. Or services or bar, TVET, any STEM, I am saying Uniano, or very formal secondary education curriculum. Now STEM, agriculture, vocational skill, digital literacy, civic education, design thinking, any life skills. Ni nyina no ye be de be ka ho. Osanso say science resource centers no obetrem ama omani nyina region bia no ebia ewo ho no obetrem ebia bi ni ho so no na yesibi aka ho. So ohwe so ayenkora no dodo na ebia ko school ezo sanse awofo ni bibie omo awie senior high school omo tifie omo tumi ko university na nyina aka ho ntina yede fee free first year tertiary education policy no ema now so no ye ya de dan a enyo bi biara na be ka se obekọ university anase obi biara na be ka se obekọ TVET ebi wo wo fie so pese obusua nsa no adwuma do so ba on the national apprenticeship program ebeba shey be ya omo pese obekọ school no ebetimi e de omama master craftsmen amo esua nso adwuma aban ebe feka omo wie nso a aban ebe to akade na wo se omunya na omo anso no omo de hyase no na omo de ahyase ne omo de doso we na me boso e wo secondary yes aso ba enkwara ye from early childhood and as a KG any basic education na don mama say moya na dom that's a motuma na wo ba what they offer no bright beginnings initiative ebeba I don't know ebema yenkwara nketenkete anase totofe wa no dodo na ebi wo fie anase bebi omo wo no wo be hwe no na primary school na wo ho na KG eni ho enti wo mo nya opportunity on be ko KG wo so ba bebi a KG eni ho no ebema KG na ayeden ebi aba ho na ya ne sanso na se school bia e wo KG anase ye maame no mo ebi wo domri na asifo edi dwa no ye KG e wo ho na enkwara no ebetimi ahyase etem se de be answer omedu mfiesia a omekọ P1 no na omedika yeden esua de wo se omusua ena na se a ye di nkomo enu sa na te wo wiase apana nyina na we ya de a eda John na mama ene NDC akoma so enti oba ya de a obeden ode be adwuma so sa so hwa ye nkwara no dodo na so ko school enei titru nkron ketwa ene nkrase no obekọ classroom na kwara no ededa fom ebititi eboso nkonye ni o metna so mbeka ya abrana Mahmudu Bawumia na akufa do ebo apro Mahmudu Bawumia na o shate de fita woko school eko ura class na kwara no ededa fom ene esua de okoto ho ene o shebo se nyame yo madum na so mo ba sa sem no be yefi ho enuanu na adofo ena me no kese no da bai ena Mahmudu Bawumia esa akosa school ho de ohu ya na osu adore awoma empo aka de do mama so ba or the policy of friend furniture for all ebeba ama school kwara bia ebe di anya nkonya atlas one a carpenter for ene omo ye nkonya omo ye enua ho eduma ebe shapam eyetumi aye nkonya no ama yenkwara na yede atlas anje bia so na sate ye 2019 ena aban eka say what the curriculum fufraba ano friend of standard based curriculum majopoku prempe do na friend na po oye NDC MDP running mate onu na no oye minister for or the say education so me kaya one also say standard based curriculum ye di abano also no so ka say ye di bibia ye friend no comprehensive sexuality education aba ananka no o say the shasi every KG e di akọ senior high school anka no ye be kira ye kwara no say obema to me ware bema oba to me ware oba akwara e to me wo mamfo mienu akwara to me wo papa fo mienu e na esori kuti aye e no mu yi free ho anu nyina echi no e na me no kase nkrata anka wo say enkwara no enya omo school 65% pe and aban etumi produce the your mama so ba say the NDC eye no dada no ana e wo ho akwara bia e wo the required number of textbooks no e besa e de sa aba ama akwara bia etumi anya krata e de esuade na schools no do on so no ɛna ɛwɔ nnuase ayɛ frɛ no schools and the trees ansa na NDC ne jɔmama ebefi abɛn mu no na yɛyi efiri hɔ ne sa nso na mi no kɛse ɛnya attack na ɛka ɛnya jɔmama na ɛka ɛna ɛnya sami jɛnfi na ɛka Africa Education Watch any civil society ɛwɔ education sector wɔn mu nyinaa di adanseɛ sɛ na mi no kɛse no schools pɔri over 5,000 ɛyɛ under trees yɛnya kind yɛ dilapidated anaasɛ atete apansam aka ho te jɔmama sɛ ɔbaa wɔbɛsi school adan ɛna school adan a wɔbɛsi no nso no sɛ ɔsi a wɔbɛsi beebi a teacherfoɔ bɛyɛ dɛn ɛbɛda ɛnso aka ho wei no ɛbɛboa yɛn a yɛwɔ nkurom ketewa asɛ teacherfoɔ no ba a wɔn mu ntumi ɛnya beebi ɛna no wɔsan sisi sɛ woyɛ teacher ni na sɛ wogye piniɛ sɛ wɔbɛkɔ akɔkyerɛ adeɛ ɛwɔ ekuraase te sɛ meme ekuraase dɔɔninka anaasɛ batwɔnsa anaasɛ kanjara wɔketua no wɔbɛsan so agye 20% aka ho sɛ de bɛyɛ a wokɔ ekuraase na wɔn nso no wobɛtumi wɔn sɛ aban ayi ne yam a ɔde boa wo sɛ wɔkɔ ekuraase no ɔno nso n'ani aso ɔsan sɛ akyerɛkyerɛfoɔ no wɔne ɔmo nkuo no wɔn bɛhyɛ apam hyɛ de bɛyɛ a aban ɛbɛboa na ɔmo ano wɔn atumi anya sika through deɛ ɔfrɛ no mortgage system na teacherfoɔ no atumi anya ɔmo dan ɔsan sɛ teacherfoɔ no dodoɔ naa na ɛyɛ a beebi a ɔmo wɔ no nkɔmɔ nya kaa nka bɛboa hyɛ de ɛyɛ a ɔbɛtumi akɔ school ntɛm na ɔpɔn waba ntɛm ɔsɛ ɛno nso no ɔbɛyi ne hyɛti scheme a bɛma teacherfoɔ etumi anya kaa ɔmo pɛ sɛ de bɛyɛ a duty ɛne ɛho keka ho no aban ebɛtumi ama guarantee na teacherfoɔ no ɛne bankofoɔ etumi adi nkeka ho na ɔmo etumi atɔ kaa ɛda ɔmo akoma so megye di sɛ nsɛm no dɔɔso ti wei na mabɔ no tɔfa deɛ wei kyerɛ deɛ yɛbɛdi nkɔmɔ ɛdɛm ase bebree.
Thank you very much. So, Honorable Peter Toobu, wabefa lawyer said, "She did it, and a black." And they have functionality, and they have channel, and rightly so because for the target audience, they understand the message in English, so he doesn't have to do a translation. But because health is broad and affects the entire citizenry, we will let our spokesperson and presenter on health do a summary. Not the policies for health workers, no, those ones they understand in English, but just the ones on health financing and the ones on infrastructure. So just that, 5 minutes. Thank you.
Mama mentia mu nyina na megye di sɛ metitwi paa na mmom menya panyi ka atwi ama me wura hye nti nka me hu ne saa nka megye lawyer ntɛm but mɛbɔ me ho mmɔden no ma try na kem ntɛm me sɛ yɛ manifesto yɛn nsɛm a yɛde atodwa ɛfa mpɔmuden ho no ɛno na me so mebɛbɔ ne tofa kakra ɛde ama mu na mɛka sɛ yɛma mpanyin ɛyɛ obi a ɔwɔ abadaeɛ ɔdwen nipa ho ɔdwen yɛn mpɔmuden ho na onim sɛ 24-hour economy na ɔde ba no sɛ deɛ Ghana economy na asɛ koraa no yɛanyɛ nkɔfoɔ a ɔwɔ mpɔmuden a yɛntumi nyɛ adwuma ɛntete ɛho ɛmfi ɛka yi mu nti yɛhia nkɔfoɔ a ɔwɔ ahoɔden mpɔmuden a wɔbɛtumi akɔ adwuma nyɛ sɛ deɛ biara nipa ɛwɔ sɛ ɔkɔyɛ adwuma no ɔyare ɛnɛ ɔwɔ excuse to wɔntumi ama sɛ bɛyɛ ahoɔden bɛba no nhyehyɛeɛ a ɔde ato adwa no ebi anie. First one ɛyɛ nea yɛfrɛ no the National Health Insurance Scheme. Insurance yɛayi asɛm baako ɛwɔ hɔ ne sɛ bɔne kɛseɛ bi a Akufo-Addo ɛne Bawumia ɛde adi ɔman yi paa ɛyɛ health insurance. Wotɔ petrol, wotɔ aduane o, wotɔ biribiara yɛte biribiara yɛfrɛ no National Health Insurance Levy saa sika no a yɛate no anka wɔ sɛ yɛde kɔma health insurance foɔ sɛ da bi a woyare a na wokɔ hɔ a yɛtumi de ahwɛ wo na mmom nea aba ne sɛ aban agye saa sika no nyinaa na ɔde biribi ɛfrɛ no sɛ cap ato so ɛne sɛ ɔsɛ wɔde ne nsa asom ɛnyɛ ne nyinaa na ɔde bɛma health insurance foɔ no And the first no almost say on my capital to 25%. Actually, come about 17.5%. Not just say the GS asking you now, boom, you now got that a buying Sikafoot room, or bet me the Nisa boom, and they are top play their Nanti. Instead of say, they will call Aqua question, baby, a better in Pomudin. Mamma so or bar. Sikabia, ye better say ye be bois health insurance, no, or money in our health insurance for home. Now, Timmy Abwaye. Now, since one solid a brave one. At the quantity health insurance, no any age my papa, and so we could talk a draw hospital, we could a draw 10 CD. Insurance almost scanty, on bet your hospital Nipan, or the man 10 CD, or bet your Nipan 7 CD. Into Oka, on person of a boca 3 CD, into Bacatro society, only be into Kotoa Bonti. But the just as a K, Emma health insurance for now, or bet me at your age my baby. Mubetan into ya, dialysis and Semubai. Yet he said, health insurance for Nankasa Kase, and Commusically in Naba on what? Commit me as for dialysis Kadimu. Then, as I said, Musically in Amahon, Ayadi, and a man, Omoto, Nategu, Yanim Kakra, Eka said they, or more my free dialysis. Nemu, Omo my age beer, Omunim says our category, Nipa or more dialysis problem, Omus Sakra, or can't crab your 5 crowd mundo. Mama say on yes at the end. Osansi or the Bibe by a friend of Ghana Medical Trust Fund, Ghana Medical Care Trust Fund. Mahama Case, a fund be a obeyisika at the atoho. Nayan Famwa, Yaria, and we hear empower my think of when at the said dialysis system kidney diseases, hypertension, diabetes. Cancer, kokram. Someone in kokram. Aha, into or see or be to sika kesi be at home. Near to me, the poor sa, ya reya mabo bodin because when who say, see, I know any malaria and it's a name any a Ghana for a yare way. The city yare, Moja Brusso, IFN BP, and no Muna, AD in Kofunya, or Ghana, it was so or bar or this car ever to hope for, and no. Yeah, or also the free primary health care. Obi or what? Or sorry, I between a panic case. Or call the chief's compound or the para. Or the health insurance at Yasem. Mahama say or bar from chief's compound all the way to polyclinic, chief's compound, health center, polyclinic. Or the free primary health care concept in bar. Or Bayan she share say, who cost hospital say I go dinya. Who health insurance to, only health insurance to. Yebesho free on this kebia nti adia ewo eho no no yeba yempomudin aso ayeho a emisemo enche mote se Kumasi G yesi hospital na aka so yare ema otumfo atu ne ho asi wo se o diska no di asa hospital ne yare nti bebi a wo kosa ho yare ne ho na aka sa yare. Inti Mahama say or person or bar or boa and pomudin aso ayeho na enya hodin na entimi enhwe emwaben na odeba or see wo hwe Ghana emofra eyekrofobia o pomudin ho sem no the enhwega emfa serious into obesi a center of excellence emofra hospital care sie a empa a ewo hospital no there 500 a high room na say we ya e hospital care see a emofra ya wie bia ani ahon doctor fo nyina e be wo ye ni bia sa wo Ghana ha enya le ntie ye ka we ye te say ya no mo se omosro mu si bi sa wo we ja enye pe no mo yo we ja no 120 beds theater 3 per the room. Theater 3 no. Say uye kola operation. Owo mani a untimi sa theater na entwa kola nan. Akola wo hernia untimi fa me ko sa theater na. Na ukọ ohwe Ghana bibimamu ha je Ghana bibimamu ha South Africa pe eni ye wo hospital say near John Mahama person oye mai. Ye the doctor for ko South Africa mo ko ye training e was hospital. Ye fellow Red Cross War Memorial Hospital e wo Cape Town. Mahama person odi bibisa eba na Nigeria for Togo for one more money now for this young there by a more family there. Labia or Arabia or Ghana have a new baby, a bit me the Nabaho, I'm a yetimi action and come. Ena Kolebu, Confanoche, or so of Pejasa, as well na or Montman for Montumapa Afra. Say, we are okay, you more hard. Would do a cry now, say the Hoya Fenity. One now be age man, come to an when you actually. Most now we are in Putua, no Akuma at all. You see UGMC, my first day I will do what make I say, the Jimmy more and Jamaica cram age man. Because Hoya Fe, Ura Hakra Wakuma at all. Nancy Boko baby so age man, Beko theatre say and light near soya and so oxygen and map ECG into Nayabasa. Inti saa nneɛma yi Kolebu Confanoche na adi na ɔbɛma so ɔsi ɔde specialist trauma hospital asebi nkɔfoɔ nya kaa akwanhyia ebetumi de ɔmo adu hɔ ntɛntɛm ne ahwɛ ɔmo sɛ ne ɛwɔ wi ne ba ne bi ɔde bi ɛɛba ɔti region wokɔ medical schools a yɛn ɛne start University of Health and Allied Sciences ɔsi ɔbɛtrɛ mu ne di medical school compound ne baako akɔ Keta near the Baconso Ako, Bato, na Etimia Boa. Na Binuan Mamuo, Ahafo, Bono, and Abono East, dear. I said, Papa, the man Penny, Dada, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, I ain't a mepa, January, or no Rebecca and Penny Bium, Eddie Banese. Mua, Utimito, Coco, Nina, now do back. I could school China, or back, or about the treasures and Mr. Basi, Obi. Make medical school, I was a doctor, about chairs, I'm 3 years on Timim Bassi. Because a Holomono at the Cheno, Nipana of Chen and Casonte Brofo, or Chen or China, Nipana saw Ocean, so to China, to Bana Yeti. Mahama say, you obey say, medical schools, or the Kessia Baku air backs are a Mantemuho, the Babu Dean, as Sunyani Hospital, the very teaching hospital sell Confanoche, and now Kolebu, near to that church. School for doctor for nurse for Nina Adie Ewo Honum say the be ya wa person ko medical school obi wo wa twetwa exams come 8A 7As so no buy interview na ya amfa no because space anymore intino near ebeye ewo ehono no Greater Accra Regional Hospital also eno so obepeja mu na modern dialysis center ewo Upper East Bogatanga Emantemu ho because uko wasi a dialysis center omo ebia 4 pe no metimi uko Upper East Mpoja na senior no start but enye modern center machine baako na eye ejuma into so oba opese obi ekese a betimi ahwe sa amantemu nyi ho nyina say the kidney problem a umfi burger emma in crime ana kumase abepe dabre ada ansa na wako hospital na nipa a wo hwe wono so ana baby ada baby ni nyina eye ka kese Boku yendi any sa mantem no ho nyina so oso obehwe say the ehia no the hospital papa esu ho a ebetimi aboa ama honom impomudin no edimu nti emi say niam aka ne de maternity a ewa ha na enofa hospital onkofo mo yeduma ho ba mo de obi ati bofo nti me nkan no ewo bofo mu na asembisa bi ho a ya yiyi mu but ni tia wani na ne se yesi kwatruka se o ma wade a den tie ni din nipa o se oye we amaye wa ye bi pe wa ye ni ebroso the only quaternary hospital I work Ghana ha University of Ghana Medical Center or no ye Dodoa Hospital or no de baye oba International Maritime Hospital wa ye bi Oko chief centers, Oko Krabia, say, Ubemu said, you were CCB or Kase or Chat, ne for Aketiasono. One can cake, I you maybe a scan of share, or ye scan MODC chief's compound, or my munina, I deny any. Sally pay and a all shall bo, a bar who bet me doing at so with us.
The patch of a crabby and Sunday Africa. If it's a million, I'll put the Kankasaya with some country, I'll make one message. Because if it's a Miami Papa, you ought to also 2 4 to the second. So what is it? They say between ya We be saying na ofa na be point right. Ofa plane na say ofa for because ofa from obe Kumasi. Ofa Kumasi is obe suya kakra. Me no me suya kakra. But then no, who say na Tuesday one. Tuesday am between me and kra. Mo ban chame. So mo amota friend and security in sense I church mu be be say. I am bisa asoja for police for immigration for me kasa mutia say pa. So mo bisa me question be down here no makofo. All right, so
with all of you coming, this was the maiden edition of our time with sectorial spokespersons. We're meeting again next week. We'll be having other spokespersons, other thematic areas of our manifesto. It's all about Ghana. It's all about resetting our nation, changing the direction that our nation is moving in, and rebuilding a Ghana that we all want together, a Ghana that works, a Ghana that offers opportunities for everyone irrespective of your background. And so it is very clear that this manifesto is what Ghana needs. And we are most grateful that you came to give us coverage. We are optimistic that the message will get out to the good people of this country. See you next week.
Yes, I was. How are you? Thank you.
Former education minister Alex Travis. And I'm Dr.
Would I make a finish, make a close, make a end.
Your mama, wow, NDC, no your mama, no Ghana. Thank you.